What's going on, my Jack brother? Coach Scott here. In today's video, I'm gonna be sharing 3 tips to help you get the most out of your workouts so you're not leaving any results on the gym floor. Tip number 1 is to rest for as long as you need to recover between sets. Recent research has revealed that resting for 3 minutes between sets is better for building muscle than resting for only 1 minute between sets. And I would argue that the same applies for fat loss as well, especially if your goal is to recomp. You're trying to build a little bit of muscle while you're losing fat at the same time, or at the very least trying to preserve your muscle mass while you're losing fat. Now, I know when you shorten your rest periods, it gets your heart rate elevated, it has you sucking wind, you're sweating a little bit more, and it feels like you're burning more fat. And you may be burning a few extra calories during that workout and maybe even post-workout. We're talking like maybe 50 extra calories than if you were to rest a little bit longer. And I would argue that it's really not worth it in the big picture. I'd rather see you manage those 50 calories through your nutrition and really focus on doing the best you can to preserve your muscle mass and even giving yourself the best chance to build muscle during the fat loss process than to focus on treating your workout as a form of burning calories. I want you to focus your workout, your attention on your workouts in the sense of preserving muscle and building muscle rather than just burning calories. And don't worry about going by the clock. I used to use a stopwatch to time my rest intervals and use it as a form of measuring my progress, trying to keep as many variables the same and constant from workout to workout. So if I was keeping the rest intervals the same from each workout and I was able to perform another repetition the following workout, it was a sign that I was making progress. But I would argue that if you are waiting until you are fully recovered between each and every set, even though your rest periods may differ between each set and even from workout to workout, it's still a constant. You are fully recovered and you're able to give the best of yourself to each and every set. So if you perform one more rep this set or this workout compared to the last workout, even if you rested a little bit longer, I would still argue that it is the same. It's going to be an insignificant difference than if you were able to shorten the rest period. And I would again argue that it's not beneficial to you to start your set 30 seconds earlier if you're not fully recovered just because you're going by the clock and it means that you're going to perform 1 or 2 repetitions less. I think that's leaving results on the gym floor, and it's not worth it just to keep that variable constant if you're not able to give the best yourself to that set. And certain body parts can require more time to recover between sets than others, and that can be very individual. I know for myself personally, my biceps take a lot longer to recover than my triceps, and there's no doubt about it that my legs take the longest to recover between sets than any other body part. And the same goes for exercise selection. I mean, compound movements are going to take longer time to recover between sets than isolation exercises, and even among the compound movements, you may find that certain compound exercises take longer to recover than others, and same thing with isolation exercises. So in the big picture, just rest as long as you need to recover. Of course, like if you are leaving a rep or 2 in the tank for your first 2 sets, you may not require as much rest to recover between those sets than for your last set, best set, when you were giving your all-out effort and leaving absolutely nothing in reserve there. Those kind of sets are going to require a lot longer rest to recover between sets than the previous sets. Tip number 2 is to perform exercises in the rep ranges that suit you best. Recent research has revealed that all rep ranges produce the same kind of muscle building results as long as you're bringing those sets to momentary muscular failure. Now, it's important for you to pay attention to how each rep range affects how well you recover between sets and between workouts. Oftentimes, those high rep sets, if you're looking like 12 to 15, even 20 repetitions or more between sets, it may be easier on your joints, but it accumulates a lot of muscle fatigue, and that muscle fatigue can be what causes some delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS, and take longer for you to recover between workouts. So is it worth it? You gotta be careful with the trade-off there. The higher repetitions, easier on your joints, but longer to recover and more muscle soreness, or going with lower repetitions, which may not accumulate as much muscle fatigue, but may take a toll on your joints as well. And that's going to have an impact on how well you recover between workouts. So all rep ranges work, and you may find that certain exercises you feel better performing high repetitions, and certain exercises you feel better performing lower repetitions. So there is no right or wrong when it comes to rep ranges, and it really does pay to have a heightened sense of awareness to how you feel. I know for a lot of guys, especially my age, 40 and over, I'm 46 right now, like for exercises like the lateral raise, just with the little niggles that they have with their shoulders, they feel a lot better going with lighter weight and higher repetitions, they're able to work through a larger range of motion. They don't feel any kind of tension or pain in the joints. It's all directed solely on the muscles there, and they find that they recover a lot better between workouts. And there's some exercises where like they love crushing 6 to 8 repetitions. It just feels great. So go with what feels great. And I just think overall, the general rule of like 75% of your sets being in that 6 to 12 rep range is likely ideal for most people. And then the other 25% can be a little bit lower if you love lifting heavy, or it can be a little bit higher if you feel better, if it's easier on your joints to perform higher repetitions. And once again, pay attention to recovery between sets. I know for like myself personally, if I'm performing like 15 to 20 repetitions of the leg press, that fatigue in the leg muscles, like it takes 5 minutes at least for it to completely dissipate and for me to feel fully recovered in order to give the best of myself to the next set. So I love it. It feels great on my joints, and it's just a nasty freaking burn. And you also gotta be paying attention to like when you are doing those higher rep sets and you're accumulating that kind of fatigue, that burning sensation, is it the burning sensation that's causing you to stop that set? Maybe you're stopping that set short of failure when you know you could push more if you just flip that switch in your mind and go to your happy place, work through that burn and push it out more. So you gotta be very careful. I find like with the lower repetitions, especially in the 6 to 12 rep range, we're a lot better at gauging true momentary muscular failure than when we're doing the high repetitions, because in our minds, like that the fatigue, that burning sensation is what causes us to stop, more so than us actually reaching that true point of momentary muscular failure. So you really got to dig deep, especially with some of the leg exercises like a leg press or a leg extension where the burn is kicking in with the higher repetition sets, and you're like, oh my god, like you know you could probably do more, but the burn is just unbearable, and you end up stopping the set there, even though your legs could continue pushing that weight. So a lot of things to pay attention to when it comes to selecting the appropriate rep range for each exercise, but again, incorporating a variety of rep ranges, I think, is always the best case scenario when it comes to designing your training programs. And all of this ties into tip number 3, which I think is the biggest factor in determining your success and progress in the gym, and that is your effort. Now, there's been a lot of talk in recent years about avoiding training to momentary muscular failure, and I think that has struck a lot of fear, unnecessary fear, in a lot of fellow gym bros out there. And as I mentioned earlier, we suck at gauging where true momentary muscular failure actually is. A lot of times we'll stop a set short just because we're feeling that burning sensation when we know we could actually, if we flip that switch in our mind, push a few more reps. And research has shown that if you have a trainer, some sort of coach next to you, encouraging you, pushing you to do a little bit more, it's amazing how many more repetitions you can do. Like sometimes like 8 repetitions, 10 repetitions more than what you thought you can do. So you are nowhere near true momentary muscular failure. So a great indicator of knowing when you are hitting true momentary muscular failure, we'll use some examples here, like the flat chest press here, the hammer strength chest press, where you see on this final repetition how much of a struggle it is for me to get that final repetition up. It's still great quality form. I wouldn't say I'm grinding this repetition out. It's still great form. It's just at a much slower pace. I'm not contorting my body in any way, shape, or form that's going to cause any kind of unnecessary stress. I'm not trying to recruit any extra supporting muscles. I am just trying to will that weight up with absolutely everything I got. And then another example here on the final repetition here, you can see that I'm pushing it up, and so that previous chest exercise, you saw I was able to get that final repetition up, but here I got up to about 3/4 of the way, and I just couldn't, like, no matter what I was trying to will that way up there, it was stuck at that point. The only way to get it up further, to make a complete repetition there, would be to contort my body and put my body at risk of injury, and that's just not worth it. But I know, like, that was I hit that sticking point. There's no way I could push it any further. Now, other great examples of taking it beyond that point of momentary muscular, really hitting true momentary muscular failure, would be once you hit that point of concentric momentary muscular failure where you're pushing that weight up, you can't get it up anymore, is to perform a slow negative on the way down, because you have more strength in that eccentric portion of the movement. Even though you can't push the weight up anymore, you certainly can control it on the way down. So I find a lot of people, it they reach that sticking point at the top and then boom, let that weight crash right down. And I think you're leaving results on the gym floor if you do that. Really slow that weight down and control it all the way through their whole range of motion and make it even exaggerate that eccentric portion of the movement, like going super duper slow and even making little pauses, little incremental pauses as you're going down to really exaggerate that eccentric portion of the movement. Of course, you can incorporate partials as well. So once I know, you'll see like even on this chest supported T-bar row, most of the reps are in a full rep range, but you'll know that you're reaching that point of true momentary muscular failure if your range starts getting a little bit slower, shorter, and a little bit shorter, and a little bit shorter. You are definitely pushing yourself to that point of momentary muscular failure and even beyond. So I absolutely freaking love partial repetitions. I love slow negatives. You don't have to do it on every single set. Again, if you're already planning on leaving a rep or two in the tank for those first 2 sets because you don't want to push every single set to true momentary muscular failure, you can save the partials and the slow negatives for that final set as well. So really pushing the concentric to true momentary muscular failure and then take advantage of the eccentric as well. So definitely effort is where it's at when it comes to your results in the gym. I think this is where most people are selling themselves short, and I think it's an area that we can all improve upon, including myself. I am finding a whole new level of effort year after year here. Even at 46 years young, I'm still able to dig deep and push myself even harder within the gym in a safe, effective manner. So again, no contorting of your body, no like grinding out reps where you're using supporting muscles to help you get it up there. You're still doing that final repetition with good quality form. It's just a much slower rep than the previous ones. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. If you know a fellow bro who would benefit from watching today's video, please do me a favor and share it with them. But more than anything, I'd love to hear from you down in the comment section below. Which one of these 3 tips resonated most with you? Share your thoughts, share your insights, share your feedback, and your personal experiences. I would love to hear from you. And before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Lose Fat, Get Jacked. Have yourself an amazing day. Catch you in the next video.